Welcome to Around Kansas. I'm Deb Goodrich. It's good to be with you today.
And I'm Michelle Martin, and welcome to Friday Fun Day.
Woohoo! My favorite day of the week. So, right behind me, I have to give a shout out to Al Schermacher, who does some wonderful photography that he shares online quite often. This is Atchison County. Just as spring is starting to touch the land. I love this. I love the light and just the landscape, and it's just a beautiful picture. And thanks, Al, for letting me use it.
And I am actually virtually in the cabin or the replica cabin that the Ingalls family lived in Southeast Kansas, south of Independence from 1869 to 1871. And you can well imagine as spring was starting to blossom, the Ingalls family were probably very happy to be able to get out of that one room cabin that all four of the family members shared.
The good old days. Yeah. So on Fun Day, we want to share some of the places that we love and that you can visit too. And of course, some places are opening up now, but there's a lot to see outside. And one of the places I thought I'd start off with is Atchison County, since it's right behind me. And Atchison County, of course, has lots of woods, lots of rolling hills, some really pretty scenery. So just driving through Atchison County, I have to say, is a treat because it's really pretty. And again, as we've said before, it's not what people expect of Kansas. Atchison County reminds me a lot more of where I grew up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So sometimes if I get really homesick, I go up to the northeastern part of the state and drive through Atchison. And of course, you've got the Missouri River right there at Atchison, and you've got some beautiful Victorian homes. You've got the Lewis and Clark sites that are there at Atchison on Independence Creek. You know, you've got the site where they spent the 4th of July when they were coming through. The Amelia Earhart House, the depot with that fantastic museum and lots of cool places to eat and shop, and it's just it's everybody's favorite. And then of course, if you're going to wait till fall to visit, you've got the haunted Atchison tours. And you know, it has gained the reputation of one of the most haunted cities in America. So if ghosts are your deal, then you might want to seek out one of those haunted tours. I myself have led a couple of cemetery tours there. And when I used to be involved with some paranormal investigators, researched a little bit about Atchison, that there's just a lot to see and do. No matter what interests you, there's something there.
And Deb, you're right. Atchison County is so unexpected. People think of Kansas as this flat, wide open space. And we do have very flat, wide open spaces, but the eastern half of the state, from the eastern edge of the Flint Hills all the way to the Missouri border is incredible. You've got those beautiful rolling hills, you've got lovely rivers, nice little valleys. And really, it's that landscape that drew people like the Charles Ingalls family. And many of our viewers are probably familiar with the Little House on the Prairie Museum that is about 12 miles south of Independence off of Highway 75. And I am inside the cabin. And I have to tell you, the cabin replica that was there when I was the director of the museum is gone, and it has been replaced with a new replica that looks wonderful. And so now you can go in and you can visit the site. It's open seasonally. It normally opens in March and it normally closes around the end of October. And you can visit the replica cabin and see what it was like for Charles and Caroline and their daughters, Mary and Laura, to live there in one room. And of course, while the family was there in August of 1870, in August of 1870, their little daughter Carrie was born. Baby Carrie was born right here in Kansas, folks. So you can actually go see the site. What's great about the museum is there's a little something for everybody. You can visit the cabin replica, but also the Curtis family, who worked so hard. Brigadier General Curtis and his wife Wilma Horton Curtis. It was their farm that the site was found to be located on. They found Charles's hand dug well and realized that was the Ingalls homestead location.
How
And
exciting.
yeah, so you can actually see the hand dug well, you can go in the replica cabin, but the Curtises were so mindful of how our history was being torn down around us. And so they saved the historic postage stamp post office from Wayside, Kansas, and had it moved to the site. And they also saved the Sunnyside one room school that was built in 1871. And actually, Mrs. Curtis's it was Mrs. Curtis's mother taught there. So here you've got this, woman who teaches in the schoolhouse, and her ancestors are going ahead and preserving it. And the Curtis family moved the schoolhouse to the site, and you can go in and see what it was like to be a student in a one-room school. They have a lovely little herd of animals, including some mini donkeys, some ponies, some horses, some standard sized donkeys. When I was the director, my favorite were the mini donkeys. I would go out in the barnyard in the morning and take some treats out, but I would take combs and brushes. And all I had to do was start to whistle and say, "Who wants to be brushed this morning?" And they would literally, I would be encircled with mini donkeys, and everybody wanted to be brushed, and they wanted treats, and they wanted love. So if you're looking for something that's family friendly, that gets you outside to enjoy nature, that you learn history and you can connect it with great children's literature, definitely give the folks at the Little House on the Prairie Museum a call. Go visit them. The admission rate is so reasonable, and you will love spending your time out there on the prairie.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after this from our sponsors.
1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org. Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Welcome back. And I was just in Towanda. Towanda, remember fried green tomatoes? Towanda. So I was in Towanda the other day, and I was actually recording podcast at Jim Farrell's studio there in Towanda. And it's not hard to find because the main street's just a couple of blocks long. So they're right there, the first building on the corner if you're coming in from the west on Highway 254, just northeast of Wichita. And what a wonderful experience. I've known Jim and Martha for a long, long time. Such talented people. Oh my goodness, just amazing people. They've been in radio forever, and music and production, sound and so many things, and PR, filmmaking, you name it, they've done it. And they now are a part owners of truckersradiousa.com. And along with Rex Allen Jr., Jim is the potentate of Truckers Radio USA, and they are a media sponsor, our big media sponsor for the Santa Fe Trail 200. Of course, around Kansas is a big sponsor too. So I just had the best day recording our podcast for the Santa Fe Trail. And so those will air starting real soon on Santa Fe Trail 200.org. So I invite you to tune in and listen to those. It was a lot of fun. And to listen to truckersradiousa.com. There, as I told the truckers, as a historian, I can study the Santa Fe Trail and I can visit sites and, walk in the ruts sometimes, like at Blackjack. But these guys are living it. They are the ones hauling freight all over the country that keep us going, many of them on the same route that those freighters used on the Santa Fe Trail. So it's a real treat to spend the day with Jim and Martha and to eat at Hebrews. That's the name of the Christian restaurant that's operated, Hebrews. And it's, oh my goodness, it was so good. I think they're open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. They have a wonderful mission along with their wonderful food and some great young people that work there. So that was a real treat. So I encourage you, if you're out that way, or down around Wichita, to check out Towanda and Hebrews.
Deb, I feel sometimes that Southeast Kansas is not given the credit it deserves. It is really a beautiful portion of the state. And really, some parts of Southeast Kansas can be seen as a gateway to the southern portion of the Flint Hills. And one of my favorite places, if you've been to Little House on the Prairie, if you can get back out on Highway 75 and head south, and then pick up Highway 166 and head west, it will take you to Highway 99 and into the town of Sedan. And it was named for Sedan, France, and boasts a really fantastic and deep rooted history in Southeast Kansas. Actually, it is the birthplace of Emmett Kelly, known as the Sad Clown or the Hobo Clown. And there is actually in Sedan an Emmett Kelly Museum. But Sedan has a charming downtown. When you drive in downtown, one of the things you're greeted by first is an enormous American flag that flies right out near Floyd's grocery store, Floyd's Market. And actually, we need to wish Roger Floyd, who runs the grocery store, well. He's been ill as of recent, and I read that he's been in the hospital, and want to wish Roger well, because Roger is one of the backbones of the community,
Sure.
along with the Jones family. And of course, along with so many others who work to make Sedan what it is. But in particular, downtown Sedan is charming. The sidewalks downtown are an actual yellow brick road. And for many years, the Sedan Chamber of Commerce sold bricks. And in the spring, bricks would be set in the concrete and you could purchase them. And so I had the opportunity 2 different summers to go ahead and help with bricklaying. And I actually have my own brick in Sedan. And it's sentimental to me because it lists my name and it says Fort Scott, Kansas, because I lived in Fort Scott at the time. And so that's just really special to me. But downtown has some fantastic shops. One of the most unique and eclectic and wonderful shops is, of course, the Red Buffalo Gift Shop. It is run by Mary Kristen Curtis. Her father is broadcaster Bill Curtis. And it is one of the anchors downtown. And she has a wonderful coffee bar. She sells fantastic Red Buffalo label coffee. I actually order it on Amazon because I miss it so much. But across the street, You can go to Aunt B's. It has bakery, coffee, and ice cream. And everyone I know who has been there said the pastries and the ice cream are to die for. And if you've walked around and seen the bricks and you've seen the historic buildings downtown, if you've also they have different series of murals that are painted all over town depicting the history of Chautauqua County. You can see all of those. You can visit a lovely park called the Hollow that has a boardwalk that takes you along a creek. And when the red buds are in bloom in the spring, it is nothing short of magical. But if you need to finish off that day with a good meal, you can go outside of town and go to Buck's Steakhouse and Barbecue. It is some of the most incredible brisket I have ever had anywhere. And I do sample barbecue brisket when I travel, and nothing beats Buck's. So, Sedan is a really lovely hidden gem in Southeast Kansas. And they're just waiting for you to come on downtown and shop the shops. Help out our small businesses and our mom and pop restaurants, especially with the pandemic. They've had to close for periods of time. They really could use our love and our dollars. So I highly recommend visiting Little House on the Prairie Museum and Sedan, Kansas as a Southeast Kansas day trip.
There are so many hidden gems around the state, and we're working so that they won't be so hidden. And if you've got a hidden gem, let us know about it, because while Michelle and I have been in every county in the state and we have covered a lot of roads, we may have missed a couple along the way. So be sure and let us know. That's it for today, but we'll be back on Monday. So we'll have some great history with Discovering History with Deb and Michelle on Monday. And in the meantime, I'm Deb Goodrich.
And I'm Michelle Martin.
And we'll see you somewhere around
Kansas.
Bye-bye.
Howdy, I'm Seth Hayes, and welcome to my hometown, from then to now. Council Grove has a rich history as deep as the prairie tall grass. Spend the day visiting 25 historic sites, or explore the unique shops and restaurants, or mosey out of town along the Santa Fe Trail. You all visit my hometown, Council Grove, in the heart of the Flint Hills.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.